Brigid Kemmerer, and please subscribe to Books on Toast. Otherwise, you might be cursed and you will never make it to Emberfall.
Hi everybody, my name is Anuya and I am here today with the one and only Brigid Kemmerer. Am I saying it right? Kemmerer. Hi,
yes.
Hi Brigid.
Hi.
We are so excited to have her here. As you guys all know, her book, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, is our fantasy pick of the month. Of course, it's our pick of the month. It's Halloween month after all. And we were very excited to read it because it is a modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So happy to have you with us today, Brigid. Sharin,
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yay, we're really excited to have you. So hi guys, I'm Sharin, and before we talk to Brigid, let me quickly tell you guys everything you need to know about the BOT Readers Club, which is a unique digital book club that celebrates a new book in the genre of your choice each month. We already have a lit fiction book club running, and now a fantasy book club as well. You get a copy of the book, do read-alongs with us, and of course get an exclusive Q&A with the author. If you want to get booksy with us, details are in the description box below.
I'd just like to introduce Brigid. So Brigid, this is A Curse So Dark and Lonely was your 11th book, right?
Yes.
And A Heart So Fierce and Broken, which is the sequel, which I finished reading last night at 4 a.m., is your 12th book. So my God, you're a prolific writer. She's a New York Times bestseller, guys, best-selling author. And I believe that she has a cat and a dog. Those are the things that I care about the most. But Brigid, please tell everybody whatever I have missed, in case I've missed anything.
Sure. No, I'm Brigid Kemmerer. I've written 12, 13, 14 young adult novels now. And I live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is on the East Coast of the United States. I'm about an hour north of Washington, D.C. I do have a cat and a dog. My cat is named Harper, and I named her after Harper in A Curse So Dark and Lonely.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a little black kitty cat and she's amazing. And I've got 3 little boys who are 13, 9, and 6. So I just have a very noisy, smelly, loud, crazy house.
That's insane. Is that why you write so much fantasy? Because you need to little escape a little bit.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Good job.
I mean, that brings us very nicely to our first question, which is it's the obvious one, it's what made you revisit Beauty and the Beast? What made you go back to fairy tales to tell the tale of Harper and Wren? Why Beauty and the Beast?
So, I think that, people love fairy tales. There's a reason they keep getting retold, now for probably thousands of years for many of them. There's something that we all just kind of find intrinsically valuable about fairy tales. For me personally, Beauty and the Beast has always been my favorite. I loved the Disney version, and I love the Disney version so much that I went on to go find like the old black and white French version. There's like a really cheesy one that has Rebecca De Mornay in it that used to be on TV all the time when I was a kid, and I loved that version. I've read so many different retellings of Beauty and the Beast. It's just really one of my favorite fairy tales.
You watched the musical?
I have seen the musical, yes. Like I just love it. I love it. And I think there's something really amazing about Beauty and the Beast, where it's really about, a girl falling in love with somebody for who they truly are, not for what they look like. And there's something to me that's really appealing about that, since we live in a society and a culture that is so focused on like, what do you look like and what do you present to the outside world? Being able to fall in love with someone for who they are, I just think that's really very, very cool. And as I was writing the story, I always say that when you are going to tackle a retelling, whether it's of a fairy tale or just any kind of well-known story, is you really have to lean into what about the story is unique for you? Like, what is something that you wish you knew more about? And for me personally, in Beauty and the Beast, I always wondered, like, if you get rid of the royal family and the prince is now a monster, like, aren't the people, like, aren't the peasants wondering like, hey, gee, where's the king? Like, and I kept wondering this. So as soon as I had the opportunity to put Harper in Emberfall with Ren, I got her out of the castle so we could see what was going on in the kingdom. And, you know, unfortunately for Ren's people, it's not good. But that was kind of my thing and how I took it and made it my own.
Wow. I mean, the full town was cursed. So
was not good.
no, but I mean, I echo your sentiment about Beauty and the Beast being such a classic and amazing fairy tale with a great message in the end, which is about that love can happen to anyone, anywhere, and you know, what your caste, your color, your background doesn't matter. So I think that's a very solid message that the fairy tale told, and I love the Disney version as well. I used to watch it on VHS all the time growing up as a kid. Did you watch the Emma Watson version?
Yes.
I
Do
loved
you
it.
like it?
So I did love it. I still like the animated version more. I think it's just
Me too.
nostalgic. Yes.
But the music of both versions is the same. It's so good. I love the music.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah, the ball
it's
song is like,
amazing music, guys. Except
Yes, it's so good.
yeah. But
yeah. So and I've always really liked the character of Belle. I think she's been also very beautifully portrayed. You know, she was an independent, fierce, unafraid character, and I love what you do to Harper in the book as well. You know, like, I mean, and she is the beating heart of the novel, and she's ballsy, she's curious, she's unafraid, and she has cerebral palsy, right? So representation of differently able characters in fairy tale romance settings really challenges the ideal heroine stereotype that we all have. So my question is, first, I'm so glad you did that. And second question is, what prompted you to do it?
So thank you. You know, for Harper's character, you know, I do not have cerebral palsy myself. I knew when I started writing the book that Ren was going to be cursed by magic, but Harper was going to see him and hear that he is, you know, cursed by magic. And she's going to be like, okay, so you're cursed, but you live in this massive, beautiful castle that is full of endlessly replenishing food. Like, it's really doesn't feel like a curse, right? Like, I wanted Harper to be not cursed, obviously, but I wanted Ren to see her dealing with something that he would see as a curse. You know, the fact that she is dealing with this limp and this left side weakness. Whereas to Harper, she'd be like, this is just who I am. When I was growing up, I had a really close friend who had cerebral palsy, and she's read all of my books. And she would always joke to me, like, when are you going to put me in a book? When do I get to be in a book? When do I get to be the star? And, you know, when I started writing this, I was like, oh, maybe now is my opportunity. So I you know, talked to her about it, and I was like, I actually kind of want to borrow some of your, you know, knowledge and some of your experiences and try to put them into this character. And it took a lot of work. You know, anytime you're writing outside your own experience, it can really take a lot of work to kind of build a character so they don't seem cliched. They don't seem, you know, like you're not relying on stereotypes. So I did do, you know, I interviewed my friend. I interviewed a bunch of other people who also have cerebral palsy. I spoke to doctors and medical professionals because I wanted to make sure anything like on the medical side was accurate. And then once I had written the manuscript, I hired a sensitivity reader who lives with cerebral palsy to make sure that nothing, you know, like I wasn't, again, falling prey to any stereotypes or anything like that. It was really important to me that the Harper was the character and the cerebral palsy was just kind of one more facet of who she was, you know, no different from her having brown hair or, you know, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I mean, and such a gift it is for us readers, right? Because one of the conversations in the world should be about how we need to normalize people who are differently able, but also representation, right? Of various characters and various people from various backgrounds is very important. So,
absolutely.
Is your friend happy that you finally put her in a book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give her a shout out?
Oh, sure. Her name is Erin Canner. She's amazing. She's a high school teacher in Los Angeles, California.
Welcome to Books on Toast. We are a little group of people who like to read in India. As Brigid says, the most dangerous person in the room is always the girl with the book. This is hard to fierce and broken, and I loved that line, and I want to say that's me. Brilliant. So Brigid, I must ask, since I've brought up A Heart So Fierce and Broken, they're very long names. I have to,
They do have very long names.
yeah, just like don't mess them up. But I finished reading that book, like I said, last night at 4 because I just wanted to know what happens, right? And it was so much fun to read it. Um, but I mean, when you began to tell the story of Beast and Beauty and the Beast. So, how did this become the Cursebreaker trilogy? Was that always the plan, or was that something that just happened along the way? And how did you think of what will happen next? Because you did not have a roadmap for book 2. So, tell us.
No, I didn't. I definitely didn't have a roadmap for book 2. You know, when I first started writing Curse, I didn't know if I would have the opportunity to write a sequel. I hoped that I would, but I wasn't sure. And when I started writing A Heart So Fierce and Broken, I started writing it with all 4 points of view of Ren and Harper, and then Gray and Liamara. And I remember emailing my editor and saying, you know, it's just not working. Like, there's just too many people. The story, it's just feeling a little bloated and repetitive. And she said, is there any reason you can't just write it from Gray and Liamara's perspective? And I was like, are readers going to be mad? And she was like, no, people love Gray, so it's going to be fine. So I did. So I kind of backed it off, and I wrote pretty much the whole book from Gray and Liamara's perspective. I did not know, you know, how much I was going to enjoy both of those characters. And I really, truly did. And I love the complexity that it kind of, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I love the complexity that it brought up between Ren and Gray, you know, and some things that they learn at the end of A Curse So Dark and Lonely. And just having the opportunity to kind of build on that was a lot of fun.
I have to say, I kept expecting at least Harper to come back. I thought she'd come back. I felt a little sad, but then I forgot about her about like 3-4 chapters in. I was like, yeah, it's okay. We'll see her later. Let's see where this is going. So I think you did a stellar job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Brigid, I just wanted to come back to you about the point on representation. Just as an author, what other representation would you like to write about? And as a reader, what would you like to read about?
You know, I try to read as many books outside my own experience as I can, you know, as I have time for. I love that publishing is moving in a direction of, you know, kind of being more open to all different kinds of experiences, whether, you know, it be race or disability or, you know, neurological differences, you know, characters who might be on the autism spectrum, characters on all across the spectrum of sexuality is truly amazing. That publishing is being more open to this, you know, and I would write about a character, you know, in pretty much any of those scenarios. I do think right now that it's important to make sure that we let people who have lived a particular experience tell their story. You know, I think that for a long time, you know, able-bodied white straight writers have kind of dominated publishing, and I think now is an opportunity for people to let people of every color or nationality or origin or, you know, anything tell their story. But I'm, you know, as a writer, I'm not opposed to including any kind of character.
That's awesome. You said that you read a lot, as diversely and as out of your comfort zone as possible. What was the last thing you read that you absolutely loved? And also what kind of fantasy is your favorite? Like, what books do you like to read?
So I love Saba Tahir's books, like the Ember and the Ashes series. Love them so much. Let me think. So a book that I wouldn't normally read, I recently read The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult, which is, so she writes a lot of like women's fiction, and this book is not your ordinary Jodi Picoult book. She wrote it. There's a really cool twist to it that I don't want to give away. But it dwells really heavily in like Egyptian hieroglyphics and like quantum physics, and it's a really cool, deep, thoughtful book. And usually I read really fast-paced YA, so that was just very cool to sit down and read.
That's awesome. That I'm sold. Egyptian
It's
hero,
really good.
quantum physics and Jodi Picoult. Ho gaya. Aur kya chahiye? I said that in Hindi. I said, what else would you need?
Okay, Brigid, coming to the Cursebreaker series, the finale is out early next year, and you have it. Oh my God! Yay! So Brigid is holding her advanced copy of the finale to the Cursebreaker series, which is a vow so bold and deadly.
Yes.
Brigid, what can you tell us about the book, and when can we expect it on stands?
So this one is coming out around the 26th of January, I believe. I'm super excited about it. I wrote most of it this year during the pandemic, so it was kind of the most challenging writing I've ever had to do.
Wow.
Yes, that was kind of bananas. And vow, also, to make it even more challenging, this is the first time I've written a book with all 4 points of view. So you have Ren and Harper, and then Gray and Liamara throughout the entire book. And it was a lot of fun to tell their stories and kind of interweave what they're all doing at this point in time. And just the sibling dynamics and the romantic dynamics were just really fun to play with. I love how this book turned out. I cannot wait for people to read it.
Woohoo! We cannot wait to read it. We are very, very, very excited, as we see. We've said 15 times already on this.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have to ask, since you have all 4 points of view, Ren versus Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Whom would you pick?
Oh, I can't pick. I love them both. It's like picking one of my kids. I just can't.
Sharin, whom would you pick?
I would go with Gray any day.
Right? Yeah, even.
But I will also say, wait until you read Vow and see if you still feel that way.
Okay. It's going to challenge our feelings. Okay, what about Harper versus Liamara?
Oh, I can't pick that either. I love them both.
You have to kill one. Which one would you kill? Now,
I could never.
I shouldn't ask this question because who knows what will happen in the third book. But which one would you kill?
I don't know. Like if a bus were flying down the road and they were both standing in front of it, I feel like I would push them out of the way and take the hit. Like I just love them both.
You're no fun.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you. I think I'll kill. Shit, this is hard. That's what I knew I'd kill. See, I mean,
now we're talking about murder.
I want to say Liamara because we met her later. But she's really grown on me, so damn it. Not as easy a choice as Ren versus Gray, because I would also pick Gray, but I feel like Ren is too tortured. I don't know. He's very dramatic. I don't want so much drama in my life.
Even your older women were picking Gray. Are older women picking Gray? Brigid, could you?
Yeah, yes, Brigid. Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah, we're all like, no, give me the quiet one.
Okay, so one last question, Brigid, before you go. What are you working on next?
So my next book, and I just finished doing the edits and revisions, is Defy the Night, which is a brand new fantasy that comes out September of next year, 2021. This book, it's totally different from the Cursebreaker series. I love the characters so much. My lead guy is not angsty at all. He's very funny and charming. And in Defy the Night, it's about this girl named Tessa who lives in a kingdom where people are suffering from this ravaging illness. And it's not based on the pandemic at all. Some people are like, is it a pandemic book? No. But people are kind of suffering from this ravaging illness, and only the rich people have access to medicine, and the medicine can only be made from this very rare flower. so Tessa and her best friend, a boy named Weston, kind of go out in the middle of the night and they try to steal this medicine for people who can't afford it. Until one day something happens to poor Weston and Tessa tries to find him and tries to avenge him. And in doing so, she realizes that everything she thought she knew about her country and the illness and this medicine might not be true at all. And she realizes she kind of needs to figure out a way to break her kingdom from the inside out. And I'm really excited about it. It was such a fun book to write.
How are you doing it? How are you finding it in yourself to write during this pandemic? What's the secret sauce?
I mean, I have to pay my mortgage. So no, I have to eat, and it feels like a good way to pay the bills. It's really, especially writing fantasy, right? Thank God, because I do have several contemporary novels. Thank God I'm writing fantasy right now. I don't know how I would be writing contemporary. I don't even know how I would write characters in the real world. I don't know. Like, are we all going to still be wearing masks next year? Are we going to be allowed out of our homes? Can people go to normal things? It's so complicated right now. But writing fantasy definitely is a bit of an escape from the real world.
You can go to normal things if you are Kim Kardashian and you have access to a private island.
Don't we all? Like, yeah. I mean, I'm going to my private island next weekend.
Yeah. I am in my private island. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm in a boat right now, headed to
My private island is this kitchen table. Like,
yeah. Sometimes I get to go to my bathroom alone, and that's my private island. All there is. Otherwise, there's people everywhere. I'm quarantining with my whole family, my husband's father, my parents. So it's a very like.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a noisy house.
I'm sure.
Full home. So it's my bathroom, and this shoot right now, which was great. Thank you so much, Brigid, once again for your time and for your.
Oh, thank you. This has been amazing.
I'm so glad we had a great time. All you guys, in case you are not part of the Books on Toast Readers Club, that's fine. You can buy the book. The link will be in the description box below. And we'll also link you guys to Brigid's social media handles. So if you want to reach out to her and say hello and say, hi, I read you because I found you on Books on Toast and you're amazing, please feel free to do that. Yeah, if you like this video, please share this video. Please share it with all your friends who you think will enjoy this book. And subscribe to Books on Toast. Am I missing anything, Sharin?
No, I think you covered it. Thank you again so much, Brigid, for doing this with us. And can't wait to read a Wow So Bold and Deadly.
Thank you.
Book that's out next year. So yay.
Yay. Thank you all so much.